You might have heard the village of Brownville is underwater, or that many of its businesses are closed because of the flooding, or that you simply can't get to Brownville because Nebraska Highway 136 is closed east of Auburn. And while only some of this is true, what seems to be hurting Brownville the most is misinformation.
Brownville is still open for business.
That's Representative Jeff Fortenberry of Nebraska's 1st Congressional District.
They've lost a significant amount of business due to the closure of the roads and the bridge. A lot of their business comes from Missouri and Iowa.
Let's clear up some facts. First, Brownville is not underwater. While it is located on the Missouri River, it sits on a little hill. Only a handful of businesses have been directly affected by floodwater. Jane Smith and her husband own both the Spirit of Brownville riverboat and the River Inn Resort.
You know, it's completely surrounded by water. To go out and inspect it, we have to get in a little boat and go out there. There's no access to it.
And what about Highway 136 closed east of Auburn?
North of Auburn, Nebraska, there is a sign that says Highway 136 East closed.
That's Mark Andrew. He owns and operates a fertilizer and chemical business in nearby Nemaha. He also farms in Nebraska and Missouri. He says that sign is only partially correct. 136 is closed, but only at the bridge crossing the Missouri east of Brownville.
And so that just pretty much kills the traffic going east out of Auburn.
And it's the traffic that keeps a town like Brownville alive. Charles Harper owns the Brownville Village Theater.
The theater, for example, is really hurting for attendance. You know, our attendance is down over 20%, and we're down quite a bit as far as finances are concerned. On top of that, a lot of our attendance, people come and they do what we call dinner and a cruise and a play. I've had about 250 total that were going to do the boat and the dinner and the theater who have canceled.
And in what is already considered tough economic times, a town like Brownville finds it hard to ride an additional wave of financial turmoil. So on Monday, Congressman Fortenberry was in Brownville along with representatives of the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Army Corps of Engineers for a town hall meeting. Some, like business owner Mark Andrew, liked what they heard.
I was very happy to see them all there because it shows that they are truly concerned about what's going on. They are more than willing to answer any questions we have and to reassure us that, you know, something will be done as soon as they can do it.
But theater owner Charles Harper wasn't as pleased.
We're still waiting for the government to declare it a disaster area so monies can come, but you know, it's still going through the pipeline and things seem to drag, which is typical of government. It's hurry up and wait. And so people are needing answers now, and they're really not getting them.
Some relief came Monday afternoon when the U.S. Department of Agriculture named 15 Nebraska counties as primary disaster area from flooding that began on May 1st. Those counties all border the Missouri River from Cedar County in the north to Richardson County on the south. The designation means qualified farmers are eligible for low-interest emergency loans from the USDA's Farm Service Agency. For business owners, they still wait. In the meantime, Brownville needs tourists and the dollars they spend. Again, business owner Jane Smith.
Brownville is open. We're here. Our theater is running. Our concert hall is running. Our businesses are all open. Our museums are open. People here flooding at Brownville, and they tend to think that the whole town is underwater. Not the case at all.
For NET News, I'm Jonathan Ash. Outside the Mid-America Center in Council Bluffs, dozens of volunteers are stuffing sandbags.
The number I heard was 500,000 sandbags on hand, just in case something goes wrong.
That's Troy Peterson. He's the Parks and Public Property Supervisor for the Council Bluffs Park and Recreation Department. He says the sandbags are for the entire Council Bluffs area.
The county of Potawatomi has come down and loaded up several pallets of bags as well. So it's more or less a joint effort between counties and city personnel.
Generally, a dike is twice as wide at the base as it is tall. So the 500,000 sandbags are roughly enough to build a dike 3 feet high, 6 feet wide, and a little more than a mile long. Council Bluffs has nearly 12 miles of coastline from Lewis and Clark Park on the north to Lake Manawa State Park on the south. And while it's uncertain exactly where within the city the sandbags will be used, that doesn't stop volunteers from Nebraska and Iowa from showing up to help.
We're getting people from all over coming down helping out.
Just on Tuesday, volunteers included groups from Boys Town, Mennonites from Kelowna, Iowa, and high school students from Omaha's Westside Church.
I'm Mallory.
I'm Sierra. Emily.
How do you feel about contributing and helping to protect part of the city?
I've always heard about sandbagging on the news and on the radios and stuff, and I've never really done it, and I think it's cool that we get to help people.
And helping is why a lot of volunteers and organizations are pitching in. A Red Cross emergency response vehicle is down at the Mid-America Center providing relief, something the Red Cross calls canteening, to the sandbagging volunteers. Danielle Schlegel-Milch is the Red Cross's public affairs manager for the Missouri Flooding Disaster Operation.
Well, it's been a couple of busy weeks. The whole spring's been really busy for the Red Cross, and we're just trying to keep up with all these storms. So we're not only, helping our people who've been affected by flooding, but these windstorms and tornadoes and everything else in between.
Thank you for all the hard work you're about to do. Please remember to be patient with each other. Please remember that it's going to be a hard day.
Tuesday night's storm added another portion to the increasingly full plate for the Red Cross. In addition to continuing assistance for the flooding effort, Red Cross volunteers pack up emergency response vehicles, or ERVs, and head west toward central Nebraska. Peggy Porter is from Elm Creek. Vicki Halligan is from Cozad. And what are you doing right now, Peggy?
We're loading the ERVs so that we can go back to Buffalo County, Dawson County to service that area.
Normally when we're out on any big disaster, we've got these hot containers, and we'll usually work like a Southern Baptist kitchen or whatever, and so we'll serve a 3 or 4 course hot meal. Right now we aren't at that need to this point where there's that many people displaced, so that's why just the canteening or snacks, it's to keep them, if they're sandbagging or whatever, we're just there to keep them refreshed and give them a little nourishment.
But no organization can do it alone. That's why partnerships are created between the Red Cross and other relief-oriented organizations. Lieutenant Brad Burkett is with the Salvation Army in Council Bluffs.
With the flood, you have this idea of just keep waiting, something will happen, and that's how it feels for a lot of people. And so I think that a lot of the people who are being evacuated or have the potential to be evacuated really don't know what to do because it's a very unique situation.
But it's because no one's certain what's going to happen, the Red Cross helps refresh the volunteers who show up to fill the sandbags, which are used to protect the city's infrastructure while trying to hold back a surging Missouri River. These are efforts which will begin again tomorrow. In Council Bluffs for NET News, I'm Jonathan Ash.